Hello everybody. Today we're going to be talking about abstraction and why it's so imperative to intellect in your everyday world. So let's begin right away with what is abstraction? Well, abstraction in essence is quite abstract, but it's simply the ability to detach the underlying structures and ideas from concepts such as the meanings, the patterns, the relationships, the essences, and the most critical factors within the context of your abstraction, often non-concretely. And the process of abstraction is called abstract thinking. Abstract thinking, which a lot of you may wonder, is the navigating, grasping, combining, manipulating, and exploring the abstractions themselves. And of course, there's abstract reasoning, which is simply applying the rules of logic to your abstractions. So abstractions are remarkable. They allow you to do so much, it's unbelievable. They're responsible for so many forms of intelligent thought. Some examples include understanding symbolism, distilling the most important factors of a concept, seeing possibilities beyond the obvious, building cohesive theories about the world, generating profound and creative ideas, because Lord knows our most creative ideas come from the abstract, interpreting the imperceptible, and transferring insight across domains. Even more specific things, like predicting human behavior. Well, that's quite significant. And recognizing deep, distinct patterns within somebody. And that's exactly what we're going to be focusing on today. Human nature. Because I can best help you guys understand what abstraction is by abstracting within a concept that I'm most familiar with. So, I'm going to demonstrate high-level, methodical, and precise abstraction, and I encourage you to join me in this thought experiment. Okay, let's begin. So let's say you have a friend, and you observe him closely, and you notice these distinct behaviors. First thing you notice is he's mercurial, meaning he's quick to shift his mood. He's impetuous. He makes quick and hasty decisions without thinking deeply. He has excellent social skills, but has no real deep connections with anyone, but he's socially flexible. He has no stable identity. He can't give you any conclusions or verbalize any proclivities of his own. He has many interests and passions, but they don't last long. He lies quite a bit about everything, even the little things, and drifts between social groups almost like a messenger of some sorts, extracting and demonstrating drama. He's liminal, meaning he's usually in a state of uncertainty and disorientation, constant disorganization. So what we did was simply abstract 7 behaviors from a human being. We took a human being with an infinite scope of plausible behavior and extracted 7 cogent behaviors from him. And we realize these traits mean nothing on their own. Anybody can distill these. But the agglomeration, the collection of them is significant because the 7 together are turned into a pattern of some sorts. Interesting, right? So we're not done yet. There's still more levels of abstraction to be done. In this particular concept of dissecting human behavior, the next logical abstraction would be abstracting our pattern, right, that we just formed. We just formed a pattern. We just distilled an underlying pattern from this human. And now we distill that pattern into an archetype. And the archetype, this person whom we observed, is quite akin and resembles that of the Greek god Hermes, the messenger and trickster god. Many of his traits are akin to how Hermes behaved in the stories, in the lore. So now we have an archetype. We have a way to understand and transmit a whole human psychological basis. We essentially have a mythological heuristic. This person is now associated with Hermes, and that allows us to do so many things with. Because now we form the archetype, we can now abstract this individual into multiple domains. So for example, you play a strategy game with them. Well, now you can abstract which moves they'll make based on their relevant and recurrent behavior. You can understand what motivates them. You can understand their thought process with more lucidity. You realize what they value. You predict their behavior across a wide range of dimensions and contexts. name whatever context or situation you're in. You now have a way to sort of access and anticipate what that person may do. You have an idea because you abstracted it in multiple levels. And that's stupendous and invaluable intellect. Your one archetype that you just created, those 7 distinct patterns, became a universal key to understanding and predicting this person's behavior. And that's remarkable. And now abstraction doesn't just apply to human beings. No, it can also apply to symbols, systems, structures, anything with hidden meaning. And no one demonstrates this better than that of Sherlock Holmes. Maybe the greatest detective. No, he is the greatest detective in all of fiction. And in The Dancing Men, he encounters a set of stick figures, peculiar little figures with subtle variations. To most people, they're simply meaningless illustrations. But through Sherlock's abstraction, his abstract reasoning, he's able to detach all irrelevant details and recognize the deeper, relevant structure. These figures behave like symbols in a coded language. He can decipher and create rules based on his abstraction. He realized that this symbolic, nonsensical randomness is actually a language constructed by someone trying to conceal a message. And once that abstraction is locked in, he can elevate his reasoning into a precise induction, test his hypotheses, and create precise and incisive rules. And so that's just a glimpse of the power of abstraction. It's simply higher level intellect. It's eliminating the disconnected, the random, and inconsequential details of life, and being able to pierce through these details in a coherent, meaningful, and predictable style.